Franklin D. Roosevelt once said, "Real estate cannot be lost or stolen, nor can it be carried away. Purchased with common sense, paid for in full, and managed with reasonable care, it's about the safest investment in the world." And real estate is what we do. This is the Realtors Radio Network. There's no sense in overcomplicating real estate. And if you're a first-time home buyer, an investor, or a real estate agent, you're about to get useful, practical, and smart advice on every facet of real estate. Welcome to the Realtors Radio Network. Now your hosts, Santos Garcia, Marcos Suarez, and Dawn McCullough.
Welcome to Realtors Radio Network. Today's guest is Boris Saharig. We are blessed to have you. Listen, this is just us here.
I was just saying
we're happy to have you. I'm Marcos. We have Dawn and Santos, our usual hosts. But we wanted to get to have the audience know you, right? We know you, but we want the audience to know you, the listening group to hear all about your story. So how did you get started in real estate? Let's start with that.
Well, how I got started in real estate, pretty simple. I was in the education field for about 12 years, and I needed something to supplement my income. And the buddy of mine, actually a good friend of mine, Nelson Gonzalez, introduced me to the concept of real estate. And then from there, I just took it upon my own to take classes and learn more about the business. The idea was I wanted to buy my own house, and that idea kept expanding, and I wanted to buy more real estate property. But the end goal was just helping and educating people that I knew in my circle on how it is to go and buy this property and to create generational wealth.
Awesome. What kind of did you always teach the same grade when you were teaching?
Mainly elementary and some middle school.
Okay.
But I was very active in my community. I coached high school football. So I was very engraved in my community.
Awesome.
So that was another sphere, being able to educate everybody as well.
Okay, good.
That's great.
The reason we always like to know, like, background to see, okay, were you around, just working in a room and nobody ever got to see you and then you got into real estate, or were you around people already and it was a natural thing to be around more people around real estate, which, in your case, you were around kids, you were around the parents, you were around in the community. So it's a good transition into real estate because this is what we do, right? We're around people all day long now.
Yes. Or you're building relationships and
right.
just having the ability to have someone trust you.
Right.
So and it really worked out for you because some of those skills as being a coach, right? You have to coach the client through the whole process of either if you're a buyer or like a seller, it's like, okay, this is how it's done. This is what we're going to do. So it's easy for you to work with people and walk them through the process of whatever it is that needs to get done, right?
Yes. I mean, one thing I definitely enjoyed is just helping people. It was a big transition from educating to being a salesman. But I've learned a lot of great lessons from Marco and just being genuine and authentic. And the idea is really to help.
Sure.
That's what you want to do. And that's when someone can trust you.
Right.
So I'm thankful for that lesson.
Awesome. I'm always happy to hear that I could help somebody. But I wanted to know, now that you've been in the real estate industry for a while, what sets you apart from other agents? I know you're a very helpful person, but what else? Because we know that that's just a natural you just help people. But what would you say? Oh, this sets me apart. I think this is what I do better than a lot of people.
Honestly, I mean, I'm always learning. I believe that I guess my niche is I'm learning not to be the secret agent.
Right.
So before, I dabbled in a lot of different spheres of people that I have. I was in education, and then I worked in the community running nonprofits and then coaching. So I had a little groups that I could tap into, but I would never before tell everyone who I was. I was always in that person. I was that role.
Right.
And so people used to know me as Mr. B. That was my teacher name, Coach B. But now they're noticing me as the realtor, Boris.
Okay.
And that's something that I wanted to separate myself from everybody. It's just that I started just being more proactive in talking about real estate and wearing paraphernalia that demonstrates that I'm a realtor.
Right.
And most importantly is I worked with a lot of renters, and I didn't give up on them. I stay in contact with them. I follow up with them every 6 months to a year, and a lot of them become my buyers.
Sure.
And I think what I guess separates me from everybody else is not too many people focus on renters, or the renting process is a hustle, right? Totally different from a buying process.
Sure.
But the end reward, if you stick with it and you put a system in play and how to approach it, is very beneficial. In the end, and it brings you more satisfaction when you're able to say, hey, you're done renting. Now you own a house. So
that is great.
That's something that I focus on. I try. Those are my bread and butter, my rentals, and that's how I increase my sphere of influence and just really make a difference in people's life.
Nice.
That's great. I had a conversation with an agent this morning. We were talking about that. You help someone into maybe they're moving out of their parents' house for the first time or whatever their situation is, and you get them into their own place as a rental. And it's such a rewarding feeling to, once you get them into their first home that they own, to have that conversation. Like, this is you're not paying someone else's mortgage anymore. You're paying yourself, and you're building your own equity.
No, I definitely agree. And it's a big shocker to them, because when I first tell them the first time, hey, next year we're going to go buy a house, they laugh at me because they're like, I just got my apartment. But just following up, just being present in their lives, sharing information, because that's really what it is. It's lack of information.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right. The more knowledge they have, the more awareness they have of what's out there for them, what they need to work on to get to that property, the better prepared they are to get there quicker. So, and my goal is just to feed them that knowledge.
So I heard you mention about being, in coaching and all the stuff. What kind of, was it Little League? Was it basketball?
So I coach at all levels. I coach Little League baseball, middle school baseball. I coach high school football. And some Little League, AAU type football.
Okay.
But mainly the ages varied pretty much from the middle school to the high school is where I dealt with a lot of the youth.
Do you have any hobbies?
Well, I love to read. That's one of my main things. I enjoy reading a lot. And I enjoy being at the beach. It's my happy place.
Nice.
Do you read at the beach?
I read at the beach.
Okay, just checking. That's a great
Yes.
time to combine them.
And a lot of things that I also do is I like to take time, and I really enjoy just working with people, right? Whether it's discussing about real estate or just life, I generally do like doing that. I was a mentor for a lot of youth back in the days. A lot of them do come out, asking me about real estate, which is the beautiful thing, because, I would love to help them become a realtor, get into that process. I have met past students recently in Atlantic City, a past student that became a realtor, and he ran into me.
Nice.
Wow.
And he called me Mr. B. And then usually when someone calls me Mr. B, it makes me stop in my track, because I know only certain people know me like that.
Right.
And he was a realtor, and he said, I remember you, and you let a lot of great things were shared between us, and I was grateful for that. It's those little things that you take for granted that when someone tells you, hey, you made a difference in my life,
Sure.
Oh yeah.
makes you feel better than any commission.
Sometimes you just don't know. Sometimes you don't know the impact that you have on somebody's life.
Very
so
true.
It's really amazing when you hear it back, because you might not even realize, right? You're just sharing what you know and knowledge and positivity and things like that. And you don't realize, and this is true of any aspect of life, you don't realize the impact that it has on somebody else. So it's amazing to hear it back.
Yes.
you know?
It surprises me all the time. Honestly, like you said, all I'm doing is giving the information, but there is someone that is divulging this information, and it's going to change your life. And I'm grateful for that. Grateful for the opportunity.
Very true.
The American dream, right?
Right.
There you go. Ownership.
So you've been in real estate for a few years, and I know we like to ask this question because it always makes us laugh. Like the kind of different, some of them are different, and some of them are exactly the same kind of stories that we have, brought up ourselves. But what's the craziest thing that's ever happened to you in real estate?
Wow, the craziest things. I've had a lot of crazy things, from I'll say dealing with a divorce transaction, where you have the sellers not being cooperative, and a lot of chaos is involved with a lot of the belongings being left or property being destroyed intentionally. Also had where you're doing showings, and I guess the tenants are involved, and you happen to see a tenant just laying on the couch, just relaxing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Hey,
Yeah.
got your birthday suit on today.
Right.
All right.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that does happen.
Yeah, but you see a lot. I'm not surprised, but there are some things that do wake you up. I remember one time I was showing a property, went into the attic, and they had a whole bunch of little dolls, like you see in Annabelle, all lined up in the attic. Yeah, that definitely closed the door.
Were you able to sleep?
That is
Were you
creepy.
able to sleep that night?
I had to process that. I really had to process that one. That was.
You couldn't unsee it?
I could not unsee. I still cannot unsee it to this day. So
I walked into a house once. I've seen that. A doll just sitting, on the chair, like big doll. Too,
yes, these were
sitting
huge
on a chair, and that really creeped me out because I'm not creeped out usually by stuff like that. But it was so lifelike that I was like, wow, that is super creepy. I was like, something told me don't go into that room.
So
Imagine seeing a whole bunch lined up against the wall.
I didn't really know that this was a thing until I got into real estate, and I've been through not a whole host of homes with the dolls, but I remember last year I went into an open house with one of my clients, and we walk into into the dining room, and he starts freaking out, and he just turns around, and I'm like, "What? You okay?" Like, I'm like, "Did he see a ghost or something?" Because some people get freaked out. And they had these dolls hanging from the ceiling in the dining room, and he was totally freaked out by it.
Boy.
He's like, "I don't want to see the rest of the house,"
I
and he
blame
just
him.
walked out.
I had one, not doll related, but I had one where I'm doing the showing, and it's perfectly, walking through the house. I have a couple behind me, and the lady says, "Oh, they have the same kind of dog we do," and I'm like, "Oh, what kind of dog do you have?" And they said Rottweiler. And I'm like, oh, wow.
boy.
And then I look at the bowl because I realized she was looking down, and there was a massive looking bowl. And I'm like, oh, man, I really hope that's just like a security measure kind of, because some people buy those dog bowls just to make people think that there's a dog in the house.
Right.
And I'm thinking, I don't smell any animals. I don't smell any of that. And I'm like, I'm hoping. And, dude, this dog was waiting by the door, waiting for me to quietly waiting for you to open the door to the master, but to the main bedroom. And it was like waiting there. And I went to open it. He was sitting there just looking up, like ready to go through the door.
Is this
I'm
my
like,
lunch? Is
oh
lunch here?
my goodness. If I had opened that full swing, it could have come through the door.
Lunchtime.
And when I closed the door, that's when you heard the roof, really heavy, big sound coming from the other side of the door. And I thought, man, we would have been lunch today. Like this was, it was a massive, massive dog.
He
Just
was gonna
waiting.
do a whole Mortal Kombat. Come over here.
Yeah.
But imagine that. It was
Dogs
big.
are their thing. They animals not to play with.
Yeah,
Yes,
no
yes.
kidding.
I ran into a couple roosters one time. I had a tenant that had a client that had roosters.
Yeah.
And I found that very. They were fighting. Fighting roosters. So
Wow.
Yeah, they're like, don't walk in there because they'll attack you. And I was just like, so that's your. Some people have dogs. Some people have roosters.
It's funny
What do you
that there's a house in Clifton off of Main Street in Clifton, and they have a bunch of chicken, and you can see them through their fence. A bunch of them, just in the front yard. I'm like, what is going on here? Like, doesn't the town say something about
It's
this?
crazy, right?
But it was a
Not
lot.
sure about what the ordinances are.
Don't go raising chickens now.
Right. What have been your biggest challenges in real estate?
My biggest challenges, I would say, really is just like I said, in the beginning, my biggest challenge was letting everyone know that I was an agent. The biggest challenge was because everyone was so used to being one way. Now it's almost like I had to create myself.
You have to retrain other people.
Rebrand myself. Right,
Sure.
right. Other people that I was that person, that they could trust me, that I was knowledgeable, and that takes time. And that was my a big obstacle because I always like to have an impact right away. But I know through rebranding myself, remarketing myself, educating myself on what I'm speaking about, it took time. And every good thing takes time, and that was really my biggest obstacle. Are there obstacles today that I face? Of course. There's always going to be obstacles. I think my mindset has also changed a lot. Being in this career, in this field, you have to have a strong skin and be okay with someone telling you no.
Right.
Yeah. And learning how to change that no into a yes. That's the true master skills.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm brushing up on, to get to that Jedi level of selling.
Right.
But I'd say mindset and just not being a secret agent was an obstacle for me.
And I was going to ask you what your advice would be for a new agent, but I think those are great things to say to someone is don't be afraid of getting
rejected.
No. The rejection is part of the process.
Be afraid
Yeah,
of
and that's a big thing, especially if you're not used to hearing no, right? If you're always if that's hard for you, you have to learn not to take it personal.
Right.
Yeah.
And mindset is everything, especially when you're focusing on the new. You have to have a mindset. Many times me and Santos used to go walking and running over there at Garrett Mountain. We used to have a lot of deep conversations about mindset.
Yeah.
And what we would need to propel ourselves further in our career and in life mainly. And those talks generally had a very strong impact in both of our lives. So mindset is very key if you want to be successful.
What a great place to have those talks because it's just so serene there, right?
Right. Yeah. You're with nature. You're working out. You're talking. You just have an authentic, genuine conversation.
Disconnect a little bit from the electronics world and get out there. I love that.
Yeah. And and it's also good. It's also good to speak. Sometimes as men, it's hard for us to speak. So when we have these genuine, deep conversations, it's more of an impact.
So Santos knows all your secrets.
Well,
Santos, we have to talk. Just kidding.
They are not for sale.
But it's good.
My man.
It's good to have conversations, right? To get into groups and kind of brainstorm, mastermind a little bit about the kind of things that you want to see and help you move forward with. Let's say one another, because sometimes you have an idea about something. And someone else will say, yeah, you know what? And what you could also do with that idea. And then you have, now you're both richer for having shared these things, right? Yes. And neither of you is worth any less for having shared. So it's good to have those little powwows where you're, whether you're walking out somewhere or sitting in an office and just might be 3 or 4 people, could be 20 people, right? But you're sharing ideas and somehow you're all growing at the same time. Yeah. And not necessarily growing into each other's space, but growing into exterior and bigger spaces where okay, this is going to help me here, but it's going to help me when I'm doing something else too.
Correct. Yeah. And you said the key word, a mastermind group. I think that's very, very key because, you also want to have someone that you could bounce off ideas, right, and hear other people's ideas. There's many different ways of doing things. And sometimes if we don't hear other ways, we get stuck in this little box.
Yes. Sure.
And I think the best thing that we did is we had a little mastermind group meet up constantly and go running and go walking in the mountains and just talk freely and bounce ideas off of each other. And that helped our group very much.
Sure. It's funny because, there are a few of us in the office that play golf, and that seems to happen. I remember just a couple of days ago, we were out, a group of us from the office, and we're having these conversations, nothing to do with real estate, nothing to do with golf. We're just talking about each other's lives and what do you think about this and what do you think about that, and I'm doing this thing with so-and-so, had nothing to do with golf or real estate, and we're bouncing ideas as to, I had this conversation with a friend, or I had a conversation with my uncle and it went like this. What do you think? How should I approach this? He's asking me for this, or she's asking me to do this, and I'm not comfortable with that. Or, and it's funny, just a bunch of guys is having real conversation, real talk as we golf, right?
Right.
And that it was a pretty genuine moment we had over the weekend. It was pretty interesting.
Women have those conversations too.
Yeah,
Just so
but
you're aware.
You
those
guys have them
happen
more
daily.
often than us.
Those happen daily.
Yeah.
Ours happened
There's
once.
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. You see the eclipse that's happening? That's so to give us time to talk. Those 8 minutes or 20 minutes. Every eclipse, that's when we get the time to talk.
Yes.
And I think that's like Margot said, and to your point, Dawn, yes, women always have these conversations, but men, it's very hard at times for us to have genuine conversations amongst other men.
Sure.
But when you find that group that you can, and you bounce off ideas and you learn, that's something special that we cherish.
Absolutely.
So, I am grateful for a lot of conversations I have with a lot of people in my life, and a lot of people are here to bounce ideas off.
Mm-hmm.
That's great.
So, if you're, let's say you meet a new client today, a buyer, what would you advise to a buyer, first-time home buyer? Let's make it a first-time home buyer. What would you tell them, that is important right now to get into? Would you say, obviously get pre-approved as the first part of that, but beyond that, what would you say? Let's take a look at your needs.
Well, you have to be honest with them. I mean, obviously, you want to sit down and find out what their needs in. Everybody wants top notch of everything. In this market, unfortunately, there's not too much top notch out there, so you have to learn how to be creative.
Yes.
So this is where the education parts come. You sit with them, you explain to them, and you listen to them. You want to listen to say, hey, what is it that you want? Okay. And then you just feed them back. Okay, based on what you told me what you want, this is what's out there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the holding of the hand throughout the process, doing the consultation, explaining thoroughly what's going to be expected, and letting them know that this could be a roller coaster ride.
Mm-hmm.
The emotions are going to be high. You're going to be falling in love. You're going to be crying. You're going to be laughing. Well, that's the beauty of it. And one thing I always make sure to end our conversation with is this is not going to be a one-time thing with me. We're going to become best friends. We're going to be lifelong friends. I will be in your life forever.
Right.
Yeah.
Not to sound stalkish.
No, but that's the it's cool to have that. I have the same thing in my business because you're essentially like you talk to people. We talk to our clients, especially when we're in an active transaction daily.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so it's not just like closing, stop, call me if you need something, like always following up. I become friends with almost all my clients. It's just a natural thing. And actually it makes the whole process fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree.
Not so transactional, not so, don't throw anything at me for saying this, but not so used car salesman. When I go to buy a car, I'm like, I hope these people never call me again.
Right. Because you don't have that authentic,
Right,
genuine
right,
love.
yeah.
Right.
And I think that's key. And like you said, a great agent is always going to be active and involved in this client's life forever.
And you
Right.
want them to have you as a resource. You trust the professional. Call me if you need another trusted professional, maybe the contractor or whoever
Yeah.
it is, a plumber or whatever. You want them to be able to rely on you for that.
Yeah, you want to
So-
be the connector.
Definitely. And I think the most important is you just want to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
People respect honesty. One thing I learned is if I don't know the answer, I will let you know I don't know the answer, but I will find you the right person that will.
Absolutely.
And I think that was something I also learned in the business, because sometimes we want to take care of everything and we have to be realistic, focus on what what your craft is on.
Right.
And if they need advice on another area, well, you got them to someone
Right.
that's mastered in that craft.
Right, because that's an art form too, right? Staying in your lane.
Staying in your
You
lane,
have to
yes.
know. Listen, you're not the loan officer here. Stop giving.
Right,
This
right.
kind of. You're not the attorney for sure. Don't give out.
Yeah,
legal
definitely.
advice.
Definitely.
You stay in
the
your lane,
accountant.
right? Or the
Right,
accountant,
yeah.
or go seek professional, assistance in those areas if that's what you need. But for everything else, there's MasterCard.
He copied me.
Oh,
That was good.
MasterCard.
Another great advice for
Jinx.
those new buyers: when you're buying a home, do not get that new car before the closing.
No new car,
Oh,
no new
car, don't do
furniture,
nothing, yeah.
no new credit cards,
Exactly.
none of that. Those are the 10 commandments of real estate. We're gonna have to.
We should probably tattoo clients with all of that. Because sometimes we say it a lot and it still doesn't maybe click in.
And that's why you have to be very involved with your client.
Of
I
course.
always tell my clients, be annoying. You don't be afraid. You want to call me, text me, go for it. Just so you feel comfortable that you could speak to me, because there's going to be times I'm going to have to talk to you and feel comfortable that you're going to hear my positive criticism in a good way. And like I said, as long as you're educating them and showing and letting them know the do's and don'ts of the process, the smoother the transaction.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, Mr. B, do you have any
Mr.
other
Belding?
do you have any other real estate nicknames? Not former life.
Real estate nickname. Wow. I guess House Hustler.
House hustler.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
cool. I like that.
All right.
All right.
So
Boris the house hustler.
Mr. B, the house hustler.
Mr. B. now you're stuck. You know we're gonna call you. Somebody's gonna hear it on the
I hear
podcast
that
and
now.
call you that.
Mr. Billionaire.
Hey, there you go.
I like that one.
Oh, he
I
likes that one.
Yeah.
Nice. Do you have an app in real estate, like a real estate app that you like, that you use a lot?
Real estate app that I use a lot. I have a couple. When in regards to, are you talking like into searching for property? Are you
Could be
talking
anything.
about?
Anything
It could
you
be
use.
it could be your mortgage calculator to Canva to your MLS app or anything in between.
Canva.
Somebody
Canva
said
is
that-
key.
Somebody said that the
Can't live without
favorite, Canva is big. Somebody said that their favorite real estate app is the main real estate app. People use it for other things,
Right.
but it's called Instagram.
What's that?
I think I saw that.
I think didn't they invent that for real estate? People use it for big.
And TikTok nowadays, you
yeah,
do a
true.
lot.
Yeah.
Dancing in front of the houses.
Yeah,
People are creating careers just out of TikTok.
Yes.
no kidding.
You have a lot. The creativity is beautiful. I love seeing that, because it also makes you say, hey, I could do that, but maybe in another way.
Yeah.
Right. So I love seeing that creativity. I love how people use certain apps to become more marketable.
Sure.
And mine app, the one that I love a lot, would be Canvas right now, Canva.
Yeah.
And that's just mainly just because it helps with my marketing.
Sure.
But then again, I love social media. That's free marketing as well. So you can never go wrong with free marketing.
Absolutely.
By the way, this episode is not sponsored by Canva.
Right.
Great
But it could
opportunity
be.
right there.
It could be. If you weren't a realtor, what else would you be doing if you weren't a realtor?
Honestly, my dream is to open up a school.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
So I would probably either right now be getting my doctorates, and I'm on my way to opening up that school. I'm not saying I won't do that, but right now, real estate is helping me to get to that point where I can open up a school.
Nice.
I really enjoy the concept of education and growth.
Nice.
So and it'll be a school more of life skills, not just a regular academic institution, but more of life skills.
Okay.
Okay.
Good. So usually when we get to this section of the show, we like to ask them some rapid fire questions. So
Go for it. Here we go.
So they're quick. If I were to say Dunkin' or Starbucks, what would you pick?
Starbucks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Lunch in the car or in the restaurant?
Oh, definitely in the restaurant.
Yeah.
But you're a realtor, so you get to eat in the car.
And that's the sad part.
That's the sad part.
We have perfected eating in the car.
What's your favorite go-to lunch food?
My favorite go-to lunch food? Well, can never go wrong with a slice of pizza, right? But
Okay.
we're getting to the point we got to be more health conscious. And also I've incorporated a lot more salads in my life.
Okay.
Sushi's always classic. Can't go wrong with some sushi. But my favorite go-to would honestly be a chicken cutlet sandwich.
Okay.
Okay.
Not a little healthy there, but it'll get there. It'll be grilled chicken soon.
Right.
Grilled chicken.
Favorite
chicken sandwich.
Favorite vacation spot?
Favorite vacation spot? Wow.
Could be anywhere on the planet, anywhere you've been, or anywhere you'd like to go to. It could be anywhere.
Well, what I would really love to go to is, honestly, I would love to see what China's like. Right. I've never been on that side of the world, Thailand, but I would love to experience that culture. They have beautiful beaches, lots of land. So I would love to see what life is like out there.
Sure.
But my dream is another bucket list is to go backpacking across South America.
Ooh.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow. Santos will go with you.
Yeah, definitely.
yeah,
Count me
yeah.
in.
How about a favorite town in New Jersey?
Favorite town in New Jersey? Wow, there's so many. But always got to give love to the town that I was born in and that I made a difference in Passaic, New Jersey.
Nice. I was born there too.
Hey,
Me
Passaic
too.
General.
I was born there too.
Oh, look at that, Passaic in the house.
Yep. What is your service area? What towns do you service?
Well, I've sold and serviced all North Jersey, Central Jersey, but mainly lately I've been focused in I would say Bloomfield, Patterson, the Orange area. But like I said, I've currently serviced all throughout North Jersey and Central Jersey.
Okay. Social media. Do you have what's your handle on, let's say, Instagram? We want to let the whole listening audience, watching
okay.
audience.
So it's boris.allen.sells at Instagram.
At Instagram.
Right.
And then are you on Facebook also?
Yes.
You are, okay.
And it's Boris Allen Saharig.
Okay.
So you could definitely find me there on Facebook.
Got it. And if you feel like giving out your number, tell everybody your phone number.
Well, great way to contact me, 973-941-5100. Please, let's keep it professional, and I'm here to help you.
Yeah, don't call him to date and stuff. Don't get my man out of whack.
He's taken.
Oh, man.
That's,
No.
he's
I'm here to help you create generational wealth.
That's it.
Exactly. That's it.
Well, Boris, thank you for coming. We really appreciated you making time for us and stopping by the studio. And on behalf of all of us, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate you guys every
It's
day.
been fun.
Yes.
Always.
Yes. This is Realtors Radio Network signing off.
Keep an ear out for the next episode of the Realtors Radio Network, where Santos Garcia, Marcos Suarez, and Dawn McCullough share their wealth of real estate knowledge. We hope you've enjoyed the show. Make sure to like, rate, review, and share. Find us on social media at Realtors Radio Network. See you next time on the Realtors Radio Network.